I wanted to watch this movie for quite a while. The Martian just came out about a month ago now. So this movie had a really big, I guess a lot of hype going into it for the movie because it was like a best-selling book by Andy Weir. Wrote the novel. It was a pretty interesting story. He started writing this and kind of released the book chapter by chapter for free, and it kind of caught on. People wanted to read it on like a Kindle, and you can't just give the book away for free on Kindle, I guess. So he had to like charge $1, and started making like a bunch of money. It got really popular, and then got like actual publishing company interested and like made it a physical book, and that became a bestseller. Now it's like this really big movie, so it's pretty cool. Kind of like the rags to riches kind of story that I'm sure every writer would want to happen. Turns into this giant theatrical release at the end of the summer. So yeah, a big movie. Got some really big cast. Mainly Matt Damon is playing astronaut Mark Watney, and he gets left on Mars. So they have a mission to Mars, and a big sandstorm hits, and their crew's heading back to their shuttle, and Mark gets hit by some debris, and they gets left for dead. They think he gets blown out of sight, so they can't see him, and they leave him thinking he's dead. But fortunately, he's still alive, but the crew's already gone. They're on their ship back to Earth, making their turn. So he has to figure out a way to take what little resources he has. I think it's going to last like 30 days. 30 days of supplies, and make them last over a year, I think, if I remember correctly, until somebody can come back and give more supplies and then rescue him, because it takes a long time to get from Earth to Mars. So I think one of the big things that people really liked about the book and the movie is just how scientifically accurate it is. That's what everybody talks about. It's researched a lot, so people really appreciate how close this is to how it would be in real life, and especially since we're working on sending people to Mars. I think this is a lot of interest right now and stuff. So yeah, I wanted to see it. Big names. I mean, Matt Damon's the main guy. He carries most of the movie. It's directed by Ridley Scott, of course. He's sci-fi legend as a director with Alien and Blade Runner and lots of other movies. So he's directing. Lots of big actors: Jessica Chastain, Jeff Daniels, Kristen Wiig, Sean Bean, a bunch of other people. So I want to see it in theater because it's always good to see sci-fi or space-centered movies in the theater. I think just because of their grand scale, the scope of a sci-fi movie is great to see on the big screen. So I wanted to see it before it left the theaters. I also really wanted to see it because my twin brother, Nick, works for Boeing, and he works with propulsion, and they're kind of, they're pretty well represented in this movie. If you've seen it or you're going to see it, they're the jet propulsion guys. I kind of imagine that's like what my brother does, so I was interested in seeing that stuff too. It's really cool. And so yeah, that's kind of the basic plot. I like the movie. It's really well done. It's really well acted. You're not going to be disappointed in that at all. It's pretty funny. I haven't read the book, so I can't really compare it to that at all. But it's definitely a very good movie. I'm giving it a 3.75 out of 5. So if you're interested in sci-fi, space, just like a good action film, well, not super action, but it's like more of an adventure film and drama, but maybe a little bit of like Castaway type feeling with it. Definitely check it out. It's going to be one of those kind of crowd pleasers. Everybody's going to like it. There's not going to be much to not like about it. The only kind of criticism I would have is just from a personal point of view, because I've seen so many movies. I've seen movies like Red Planet, Mission to Mars, excuse me, Apollo 13, and like Gravity more recently. I've seen a lot of sci-fi films, and this is just kind of more of the same, unfortunately. So I think if you've seen as many sci-fi films as I have, you've seen all those that I just mentioned, it's not going to really blow you away. It's not going to be much new. But, I mean, that doesn't detract from the film. It's still very good. It just doesn't do a lot of original stuff, unfortunately, if you've seen all those films. So if you haven't seen any of those, if you're not a big sci-fi fan, you haven't seen a lot of these space movies that I mentioned, it's gonna be great. It's a really